Hey, this is Ross with my partner Bob. We have a show called Worldview Matters.
And Ross, as you know, we believe that everything in life is somehow related to how people view the world around them.
Our show is available on iTunes, Stitcher, or your favorite podcast app. Also available on the web at bigbrainsmedia.com.
This is the morning edition of the Weather Xtreme video. This is for Tuesday, the 16th of April. I'm James Spann. Warm, muggy like summertime, and maybe some strong storms later today. In fact, maybe a severe storm. Let's take a look at some of the satellite shots early this morning. I say satellite, Skycam shots early this morning. It is a warm, humid morning. That's our Birmingham Skycam looking right down 20th Street. That's from Tuscaloosa. And a look at downtown Fayette up in northwest Alabama. Big old trough evolving back in the western states, and again, you know that's trouble in April. Somebody somewhere is going to see severe weather later today and tonight. When again, we could very well see a severe storm this afternoon, but the bigger organized opportunity comes later in the week. And yeah, we're starting off the day in the 60s. In fact, look at Tuscaloosa. They've got 71 at 5 a.m. So you know it's 71 at 5 in the morning. It's going to be pretty warm in the afternoon. We are expecting highs up in the low to mid 80s today. But around the nation, again, it's so cold up north. The big snows north of Denver yesterday. A lot of our friends up there still have yet to find spring. But we'll be in the warm air for the next few days. Up on the Watch Morning map, winter storm warnings. Parts of Colorado, Wyoming, Nebraska, South Dakota. And other than that, the nation pretty quiet. But later today, things could be active with storms. Look at that slight risk of severe weather over about the northern third of Alabama. And again, the storms that form later today will be scattered, kind of like a summer day, but where they do form, they could produce hail and strong gusty winds. The risk extends as far north as Cincinnati, as far west as out there toward the Concho Valley of Texas. Now, tomorrow, this could be a pretty big outbreak, a moderate risk for a pretty good chunk of Oklahoma up toward Wichita, Kansas. Surrounding that, the standard slight risk from the Texas Hill Country to almost Chicago. And you can see the higher possibilities, 45%. That means basically a 50-50 chance of having severe weather within 25 miles of a given point. Covers much of Oklahoma in that moderate risk area. Day 3, this is Thursday, the standard slight risk from Houston to near Detroit. And within that, there is an enhancement that would include places like Shreveport, Memphis, Little Rock, and almost up to Indianapolis. And then beyond that, on day 4, which is Friday, there is no formal risk. We do expect a squall line in here early Friday morning, and that could produce strong winds. Maybe an isolated tornado, but for now, SPC feels like with the very limited instability, they just don't need to put up a risk on day 4 yet. They probably will. I would imagine we'll see a standard slight risk before we get to Friday. And this is the rain for the next 5 days. This carries us through Sunday morning at 7 o'clock local time. Bigger numbers up around Chicago with 4 inches there. The amounts down this way closer to 1 inch. And let's look at modeling. This is the GFS, the OZ run, valid at 1 o'clock this afternoon. Look at the 591 upper high that's over the Gulf. And then the big trough is evolving in the west. And down below that, the air is muggy and moist. Dew points well up in the 60s, and we'll expect to see scattered showers and storms developing. In fact, look at this. Even this morning at 5:04, we've got showers over Walker, Winston, Cullman, and Blount counties. And, later today we'll see scattered storms. Look at the high-resolution RPM, valid at 3 o'clock local time this afternoon, and you can see what we're talking about. It's not going to rain everywhere, but where the storms do form, they'll be strong, and the values are very high. That's the expected Cape this afternoon. And you can see the values are well in excess of 2,000 joules over a pretty good chunk of Alabama. And that's much better instability than we've seen with like the outbreak we had last week. But there's no really big dynamic forcing with that. It's just that the storms are going to develop very easily. There's no cap, so look out for some strong storms this afternoon, maybe severe in scattered pockets. Tomorrow, boy, that is a classic severe weather look for Oklahoma, isn't it? 999 millibar low near Trinidad, Colorado. Good dynamic forcing with the big upper trough coming in, and severe storms, Texas, Oklahoma, Missouri, You betcha. It'll be a very busy day. Now, here on Wednesday, again, clearly there'll be the chance of a few, widely scattered storms Wednesday afternoon, kind of like today. But as the trough gets closer, we will be up under this ridge, and the air aloft will be warmer. So I think the coverage of the storms here tomorrow, not as great as the ones we'll see later today. And then Thursday, I think most of the day will be dry, very warm with mid-80s likely. And the chance of rain is very small on Thursday. Could there be a storm somewhere? Yes, but we will be in sinking air, the upper ridge in advance of the trough, and I just don't think we'll see much of any rain or storms on Thursday. The big action west of here. All right, this is Friday morning, 7 a.m. Central Time. And again, there's the big trough, and down below that, the surface low is pretty far north. That thing is over Michigan, 988 millibars, very deep. And you can see a trailing batch of storms, a squall line extending below that thing. And this is going to come through very early Friday morning. I'd say the timing, we'll still say maybe 2 to 11 a.m. That's the main window, and that is a time where the air tends to be most stable. We'll check the instabilities, and there's very little surface-based instability. I mean, way under 500 joules, and in some cases under 250 joules. So that doesn't, lead to a big outbreak, and the timing is a good thing for us. But the wind fields are very strong. This is at 850 millibars, about 5,000 feet up. And up in the core of this thing, north of here, the low-level jet is 80 knots, and down here, it's in the vicinity of 60 to 70 knots. But again, clearly there's going to be some pretty good wind with that line when it comes through. And the shear values are very adequate for rotating storms within that line. So there could be an isolated tornado, but we're just thankful that the instability values are very low. So a squall line likely early Friday morning, initially in West Alabama, 2 to 3 a.m., exiting the state by late morning. Strong gusty winds, the main issue. Maybe an isolated tornado. And then we'll be cooler Friday with a high probably only in the 60s. Saturday, as we start the weekend, a cool morning. We'll start the morning in the low 40s. The high should be in the upper 60s. A cloudless sky. Sunday, nice and sunny. Again, 40s during the morning. We should creep up into the low and mid 70s. And Monday of next week looks dry, mid 70s likely. And there's Tuesday of next week. Most of the action is up in the northern branch of the jet stream, and evidence of maybe a front approaching with a surface low over Michigan, but maybe a shower by Tuesday evening, but it doesn't look like an overwhelming chance. We'll go out there toward the end of the forecast, the 1st of May Day. And surface low that's over Missouri, and there's no way we can identify specifics out there. That would be a pretty typical map there for early May. That's it for the Weather Xtreme video this morning. We'll have notes in the blog. Next video here by 4 o'clock today. And if you can, watch us on ABC 3340 News, the live stream or the television side at 4, 5, 6, and 10 o'clock. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, and God bless.
Hi, I'm Steve Sample with Bama Talk. Don't miss a single episode of Bama Talk Show, available now on iTunes, Stitcher, or your favorite podcast app, and on the web at bigbrainsmedia.com.